Mic check, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Post-game mic check, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Check 1, 2, 1, 2. Podium mic, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Post-game check for video, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Nope, you are full up on the channel. I have nothing more to give to you. Mic check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Audio check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Check.
Micro, we ready? Okay. So, hey, we got about time for hopefully 4 or 5 for Jeremiah. Then I got to get him out of here. He's got family here. Austin Ward.
JD, it seemed like it took a little bit for the offense to find that next gear, but the touchdown there in the third quarter for you, and you guys had a lot of success there with the passing attack. What initially was holding you guys back? What'd you get fixed there?
Just we got to finish drives. I mean, we was driving down the field on them guys. We just couldn't finish. That was really the main point coming in at halftime. We just got to finish our drives, and that's what we did in the second half.
Over to the left, Cameron Teague Robinson.
Jeremiah, it's now 3 games with this offense, new quarterback, new running backs. What have you learned the most over the course of these last 3 games that you can take into the bye week and into Big Ten play?
Can't rush things. You just got to play as a team, as an offense, and just take it one play at a time. So that's all.
Spencer Holbrook.
Jeremiah, what did you see on the deep ball from Julian? Did you know when you lined up that you had him, or was it one of those things where as it developed?
Before we got on the field, Coach Dave called it. He was like, "We gonna call this play, and you got to go get it." So I already knew the ball was coming to me. I just had to go out and make a play.
Over here to the left, Bill Rabinowitz.
Jeremiah, when you see man coverage, especially on a deep ball, what goes through your mind?
Coach Hartline always preach you got to win versus man on man. So that's what I'm told to do, and that's what I'm going to do. Regardless of his man or zones, I just got to go out there and win and catch the ball.
Tim May.
Jeremiah, I think 9 catches tonight, which ties your career high.
Yeah.
Were you aware of that? But what does that mean to you, if at all?
Don't mean nothing to me. Just got to continue to go out there and play football. That's all.
All right, last question for Jeremiah. Dan Hope.
Jeremiah, you had said last week that you were excited to see what Bo Jackson was doing.
Yeah.
To see him go out and have a game he did tonight, how much does that excite you?
Yeah, I've been saying it. Like I said, Bo Jackson is that guy, and you're going to see more of that throughout the rest of the season.
Great. Jeremiah, thank you very much.
I mean to throw you out like that,
Okay, we'll start here on the right. Go ahead.
Ryan, leading into a bye week, obviously there's a lot of things that you'll have to get better on and want to emphasize. But I guess coming out of this game, what were your biggest takeaways, and particularly in the run game, what wasn't clicking there? And what kind of burst does Bo Jackson give you in that run game that might solve some of those issues?
Yeah, I'm just trying to look at the numbers here. Yeah, Bo averaged 12 yards a carry. James averaged 6 yards a carry. CJ averaged 4 yards a carry, and I get Jeremiah had 17 on that run. We had 225 yards rushing on 31 carries. I mean, I don't know if that's so much the story as it is just not converting in the red zone. When you have on 63 plays just under 600 yards, I think it's more about when we got down to the red zone, we weren't able to execute, and those runs were not efficient. So I'm going to obviously watch the film and figure out if it was, scheme, if it was coaching, or if it was personnel. And we got to do a better job when we get down in the red zone. We got down there a couple times, had to settle for field goals, and went for it the first time, went to kick the field goal the second time, didn't want to get greedy, and then on the touchdown to CJ, we don't get in. We step out of bounds at that moment in that game. Again, can't let ego get in the way and just kick the field goal. And let's not get this game into a situation we put ourselves at risk, because I felt like we were moving the ball well. We just had to finish these drives off, which is frustrating. But these are the things that we have to learn, and we learned a lot of lessons tonight. As we continue to open up the offense, like in a 2-minute drill, or when we're throwing the ball, we have to learn when it's time to take a sack. These are all the lessons that we're gonna have to work through, and the only way to do that is to play through them. And there'll be some lessons learned tonight, but I was excited about the way that we didn't panic, and I think that's a sign of growth and maturity. because it's easy, and you can feel it in the stadium when things aren't going well. When we come out and we just kind of moving down the field, and it feels like, wow, this is going to be one of those games, and then you don't score, and then before you know it, you come out in halftime, you see the score, they score a touchdown. It's like, what is going on? And it's easy for everyone to tense up in that moment, but everybody kept playing. Brandon did a great job on the punt return to get us going. We threw the ball in the perimeter. I thought Jeremiah and Brandon did a great job getting Carnell, and then we hit the big post, and it kind of opened up from there. So, when we're firing all cylinders, you can see how explosive we can be. But if we're not going to score touchdowns in a red zone, we put ourselves at risk. So that was a really long answer to say there's a lot more to it than just the rushing attack, I think.
All righty, we'll go to the left, Rob Aller, and then we're going to come over to the right, Stephen Means.
Yeah, Ryan, when your defense has been as dominating as it is and has been, and they break a big one on you, is that almost shocking and when something like that happens? Because it's one little glitch, I guess.
Yeah, and they have a very good scheme, and they do a nice job, and they really milk the clock and try to shorten the game, which is smart on their end. And they're a good team, and they're going to make some plays, but other than a couple explosive plays, certainly the long pass, I thought our defense played strong tonight. Did a nice job against a good offense. They do a great job. The quarterback's very good, but I thought we were physical. We ran to the ball, played hard. Again, there's a lot of issues there that we got to get fixed. There's no question. And again, it's our job to identify them and get them fixed.
Over here to Stephen Means.
Ryan, you've often talked about sometimes look for trends when you're trying to figure out what's wrong or what's right with the team. Did you notice some of these red zone issues maybe in fall camp or the spring, or is this maybe something that's been more surprising to you over the last
No. I mean, the throw to Carnell could have been a little bit stronger. I think Carnell, wishes he had that one back. He could have taken it over his head. The fade throw to Jeremiah, I thought we could have been cleaner. We just stepped out of bounds on the one. We did have a penalty. And when you start to drive right around the 10-yard line, you can't mess around in that moment. Like when you're trying to get a touchdown from first and goal from the 10, you got to be on point in everything you're doing. And I just think it was a little bit of a lack of execution. But we have good ideas down there. We have the right packages going in. I think we can coach it better, and I think we can execute it better.
We'll stay over here to Bill Landis.
Ryan, we saw Lincoln come on for that one short yardage play. Did you guys consider using that at all in the red zone? Has that been on your mind at all coming into the season? Use that in the red zone?
And it will be. It'll continue to be, because the good news with Lincoln is Lincoln can throw it and he can run it. So I thought he did a nice job reading it. He found himself right behind that double team in the puller and hit it. So that was a good conversion for us. We do have more things for him, but the whole offense available when Lincoln's in there. So we'll keep looking at that and probably have some of that available. Not that it's not going to be a surprise, so it's not a secret. Have some of that available in the red zone if we're having a hard time. Something to go to as a weapon.
We're going to go here to Spencer and then to the other side to Bill Rabinowitz.
Ryan, you guys have been really good situationally throughout the last, I would say, 7 or 8 games, and then tonight was what it was with the 2-minute in the red zone. How much do you take that into consideration when what you're planning for the bye week going forward? And do you have to kind of alter the bye week now that you kind of saw what happened tonight?
Oh, yeah. We're going to try to identify those things, and, you're right. And part of that is playing through it with some inexperienced guys, but there's no question, we turn the ball over in a 2-minute drill and we don't score in the red zone. So we better spend some time on that during the bye week, because you're right, situations are important. And in a game where, they only have 55 plays and we only have 63, the percentages of situations become higher because you're not playing, 70 and 80 plays. So, we got to get better in those areas, and we'll make sure we address them.
Over to the left here, Bill Rabinowitz.
What's your assessment of Julian's play tonight? Statistically, the numbers are really good, but there were a couple of ones he probably wants back.
Yeah, I thought he played well. A lot of good plays, but you have to learn as a quarterback. I say it's just like golf. Like, you can have a great day, but if you hit, 2 in the water, your round's ruined. Well, it's the same way here. And a tip ball in a 2-minute drill could cost you a game. And then we got a chance to put him away up 3 scores. Going to get our 4th score, and in that moment he knows he's got to take the sack, which is not something that he's had to do before. I think we had the play open. If you watch it on film, Max was open down the sideline. I think he saw that. We got some penetration. Our guard got knocked off, and so the end came right up the field in his face. And in that moment, he knows he's got to third hand that, which is his chest, go down, take the sack, take your medicine, and live to see another day. So a lesson learned. But that being said, and he threw some good balls. I thought again he had good timing. I thought his deep balls were excellent tonight. The first one down the sideline of Jeremiah had a lot of air on it, which allowed him to go make a play. And I thought both posts were well thrown. Had good rhythm, but those are all good, and we got to play through those things. So it's good in a situation like this, and that's why I called the timeouts to get a 2-minute out there, because you got to play through these things and you got to learn from them. So it was a spy that jumped in the window on him. How do you get in front of that one? When there's a spy right there looking at you and kind of mirroring you got to make sure you understand that, because the read was to throw the ball to the tight end, but there was a guy right there and he tipped the ball in the air and created a turnover. So these are all the things, the more you play, the more you're remembering as opposed to learning.
All righty, before we come over here to Austin, we're going to send Sonny Styles and Jalen McClain to the back, and we'll come over here to Austin Ward. Austin, go ahead.
Ryan, you've said a couple times there are a lot of lessons learned tonight. I'm trying to figure out if you feel frustrated by what you saw tonight, or disappointed, or you're hard to read right now because you still won comfortably, but I know you won't ever be truly satisfied. How do you feel about that overall tonight?
Definitely frustrated in the first half with our inability to score touchdowns in the red zone, and then encouraged with the way we responded in the second half is probably the safest way. Somewhere in there's a lot of other things going on, but I think a lot of it we got to get on the film and identify it. The game was moving quickly, and but I will say again that I felt like the sideline, the players, the look in their eye, there was never any panic, which is a good sign for a young team. And we got to make sure we're doing our part as coaches, putting them in the right situation.
All right, we'll do 3 more. We got Joey Kaufman and then Cameron T. Robinson.
Ryan, what do you like about the way Bo Jackson is running right now, and how do you kind of work him in with CJ and James and
Well, the tight ends give us some versatility, as you could see tonight, just with some of the things we're doing. And then Bo Jackson, has some big playability, and he can catch the ball well out of the backfield. So, I thought, James had some runs, in the second half that were better for him. I thought CJ ran hard on a couple of good runs, especially the third and one with the big grouping in the game. There was a free guy in the hole, and that's short yardage running. You got to run and be your own blocker, and he did. He ran through contact, so there were some good things there. But Bo has some home run hitting ability, which is a weapon for us, and we'll figure out how that fits in moving forward. And the more he plays, the more he's going to learn. But you can see the vision, and you can see the explosiveness.
Go 2 more, Cameron T. Robinson and then Tim May.
Ryan, kind of off that, obviously, it seems like Bo has worked his way into that kind of rotation with those 3. How different is the feel or the rhythm of a game with a 2-back system, as you guys had last year and you guys are working with beginning of this year, as opposed to working in 3 guys who you want to kind of get snaps to and feel the game out with?
I think we're still figuring that out, that rhythm, to be quite honest. You saw some groupings in the game where we had multiple backs in the game at once, not a lot of them, but a couple. We have multiple tight ends in the game. I think we're trying to figure out which grouping gives us, puts the most stress on the defense and puts our guys in the best situation to be successful. But I think the good news is, when you go from three wide receivers in the game and 1 tight end to 2 tight ends, 2 receivers in the game to 3 tight ends, 1 receiver in the game to 4 tight ends, no receivers in the game, 2 backs, 1 tight end, 2 receiver. Like, there's a lot of different things, and now the defense has to have different packages and prepare for all of those things. So, we're still trying to identify, because you have an idea what you're going to see in practice, but then it doesn't always carry over to the game, and then you see things in a game, and you start to see guys have success, and as coaches, we got to put them in those situations more and figure out how to build on those packages. So, a lot of work to do here in the bye week, because this run that we're about to go on is going to be a difficult run. We have to go to Washington. Just talked to the team about this. We got to come back, play Minnesota, then we got to go to Illinois and to Wisconsin, and that's going to be a difficult run. There's some good teams there, and so we got to make sure that we got our ducks in a row as we head into this run.
All right, we'll wrap it up with Tim May.
Yeah, Ryan, what does it say about this team too, though, that two of your real dudes, Jeremiah Smith and Carnell Tate, on those post routes really, I'm not say bailed you out, but came up big when you really needed it the most. What did you say about it going forward?
Yeah, no, they're deep play threats, and then again, when you can throw and catch them like that, it opens up so many other things. And they were playing pretty low, lower than probably we expected, lower than we usually see, and so there was big plays to be had out there, and I think they kind of challenged Julian to throw the ball. Young quarterback, let's see what happens. And I thought it was a good plan. They did a nice job, and we didn't finish off the drives in the red area, and so they found themselves in the game in the second half. So credit to them. They've played well so far this year, and they'll have a good season. But you can see when we get those two guys in particular downfield, they're a major threat in any type of one-on-one situation.
All right, Coach. Thank you very much.
All right, guys. No, don't have one. Sorry.
Thank you. We'll bring in Julian Sayin to the podium. Started in the front row here with Jeff Gilbert.
Julian, Coach has talked about, like, when it's time to go vertical, he just wants you to let it rip. And you ripped it twice pretty deep. Talk about those two long touchdown passes and how that felt to convert that so well.
Yeah, great plays by Carnell and Jeremiah. I think we work on those throws a lot in practice, and Coach Day and Coach Fessler always are telling our quarterbacks, throw it high, give them air, so they can adjust. And they made two great catches, and was excited to see them come down with it.
Come over here to Stephen Means.
Julian, can you just walk us through the second interception specifically? Did you see the rusher coming your way? Can you just tell us your point of view of what happened on that second interception?
Yeah, felt the pressure. And, we talk about third-hand help when you're getting pressure in the pocket, protect the ball, put it on your body. And I was too loose with it, and obviously ball came out.
Spencer?
Yeah, Julian, what were the conversations like at halftime when you guys were moving the ball pretty easily and you weren't converting? What is that like for you as a first-time starter, and how do you feel like you guys adjusted?
Just keeping the energy high. I think, all the guys on offense knew we were moving the ball consistently. We just had to execute. And, it starts with me. But we got to execute more in the red zone. Those first three drives, we didn't get a touchdown in the red zone, so we got to do better there. And, it's all about execution and improving.
Left side, Bill Rabinowitz.
Julian, how much do you think a game like this will help you? Coach Day talked about, because you're so young, you're learning things, and now you can remember things. How important is that for you in your development?
Yeah, I think it's good to battle some adversity out there. Have the turnovers and see how we respond as an offense and how I respond. And I think it's good to battle some adversity out there.
Go to Brendan Gulick over here on the right.
Julian, you've played 3 games at this point. Obviously, you've got 2 weeks now before your next game. What are you most looking forward to watching on tape as it relates to your development, the things you're trying to work on, the way you're identifying coverages, or the way you're trying to develop your game? What do you want to spend your time on the next 2 weeks?
Yeah, I think within the next 2 weeks, it's about improving everywhere. Improving in recognizing coverages, improving and commanding the offense and moving us down the field, improving in our red zone execution. I think we can improve in all areas, and I think this next 2 weeks will be big for us.
Go over here to the left, Joey Kaufman.
Julian, where do you feel like you could improve in terms of like the red zone, which is sort of, you talk about the execution there, but what do you feel like you can do better there?
Yeah, I think we got to stay on schedule a little bit better in the red zone. We got in the 3rd and long in the red zone, and that's a little bit tougher because there's not much space down there. But also just our timing in the red zone, and it starts with me, and then we got to get on the same page with the receivers on our timing.
Come over here to the front row, Tim May.
Yeah, Julian, I was watching in pregame warm-ups and stuff. You were ripping the ball on those deep routes and stuff, and then in the game you had the two to take, and Jeremiah. And what is it like to hit those? But number 2, if you worked really hard in that regard, and then number 3, what's it like to have those 2 guys to kind of pull y'all out of the mire a little bit?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's awesome because we work so much on it in practice, and you saw it in pregame warm-ups. It's awesome to have the success on Saturdays and see it go down like that. And they made some great catches out there.
And last question over here.
I know you don't want to come off the field, but knowing how close you guys are in that room, to see Lincoln have this role to get on the field and have an impact on games, what does that mean to you and just what he gives the offense?
Yeah, it's awesome. His ability to pick up the 3rd down for us. when it was 3rd and 2, and awesome to see him come in and run through contact.
Lincoln, thank you very much. Lincoln, Julian, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, appreciate it.
He was in the window.
Thank you. Yeah.
My grandmother, Jane Weston, was killed in the crash when the B-25 bomber hit her house. My mother was living next door.
A tragic day in Newark's history will now always be remembered.
This involved so many people in this town when it took place, and quite a memorable event.
September 8th, 1942, a B-25 bomber left Wright Airfield in Dayton, headed for Mitchell Air Force Base in Long Island, New York. But shortly into the flight, something went wrong. The plane crashed in a residential area of Newark.
I grew up knowing the accident had happened, but people just didn't say much about it.
8 people died that day, 6 men who were aboard the plane and 2 women on the ground. It was a day many people tried to forget, but now historians are documenting it.
I thought, this is odd that nobody knows about this. It's just kind of hearsay. It's information that's handed down from generation to generation if somebody knew about it. And that this really needs to be documented and memorialized.
Now, a new marker is going up near the site of the crash.
This is something that needs passed down. People need to remember this, as they drive past that site.
The marker was unveiled after a viewing of a documentary that walks through the history of that day and the people who were there.
It brings back a lot of family memories from stories that have been told, and the little things that you remember that are part of the family history.
Family members of 2 of the victims sat in the crowd remembering their own family histories and the city's past.
It's hard to talk about. They hope they would never see things like that again in their lives. And most of them didn't, fortunately.
In Newark, Catherine Simon, 10 TV News.
The cost of playing sports is expensive, and it's really only going up. A parent can easily drop $1,000 in entry fees in sporting equipment, but a local organization is trying to break down those barriers.
I mean, I have coaches coming up and saying my kids are playing in Crocs or playing barefoot.
Baseball bats, helmets, hockey sticks, all donated and ready for a second lease on life. Leveling the Playing Field Ohio wants to get everything in this warehouse into the hands of kids so everyone has a chance to play. Coaches, PE teachers, program directors, all getting the chance to stock up. Eric Rutkowski runs the operation.
It's these coaches, it's these PE teachers, it's these program directors that really care about these kids, that they're going out of pocket and buying for 3, 4, 5 kids.
But here, they can get what they need at no cost. The Solid Waste Agency of Central Ohio recently gave the organization $35,000, enough to buy this van to go around and pick up all the goodies.
They're helping us with our mission by diverting that material from our landfill. 76% of what comes into our landfill doesn't really need to be there.
If you're a parent with a kid who plays sports, you know how expensive the equipment can be. A football mouth guard, $20. A basketball, about $35. And a baseball mitt, that'll run you $150.
So they really helped me with filling in my gaps for equipment.
Marion Franklin phys ed teacher Kevin Rollins knows the need all too well. He's visited the warehouse 3 times to give his high schoolers the chance they deserve.
I told my wife that it was like waking up on Christmas morning, kind of, you just walk into a warehouse and being able to pick up the things you need without having to worry about the price tag over it. It was truly a blessing.
Maybe you have a lightly used baseball bat, a pair of soccer cleats, or an old basketball that's gathering dust in the garage the kids don't use anymore. Instead of sending it to the landfill, you can donate it. I have a list of those donation locations in this story on our website, 10tv.com. In Columbus, Colin Dorsey, 10TV News.